that I've done all the work. I'm ready. Why don't I have my manifestation? Why don't I have the things I want? I see a lot of videos about this sort of thing on TikTok. Not necessarily people talking about manifestation, but just talking about how they feel like they're ready now. They've done all the things. Why don't they have the thing they want? Why don't they have the love in their life that they want? And that is something that I wanted to delve into in this video. Before we delve into this video, hey legends, I'm Cerise. I'm your self-agency and manifestation mentor, and I help you decipher the nuances of manifestation from both the law of assumption and the law of attraction, because a lot of the information out there is either overcomplicated or oversimplified, and I've learned a lot of things the hard way so you don't have to. We're all about manifesting smarter, not harder on this channel. So if you resonated with the things that I said when I was opening this video, right? I feel ready. I've done all the things, I've done the work. Why don't I have the thing? I'm firstly not saying that to shame you in any way. It's very common. One of the girls just came out of her room. And I think she knows I'm trying to record videos today. So she didn't, the last time I was recording videos, she like looked in and smiled and waved. And I was like, hi, this is awkward. If you feel that way, this isn't to shame you. This is to help you, right? And I say this all the time, and I have to say this to my clients all the time, right? They're like, everything feels like a chore. When I do my practice, it feels like a chore. Or I have done all the things. Why don't I have what I want? I'm just getting a bit over it, blah, blah, blah. And I always say to them, have you been doing the things to get the thing, right? Have you been doing the work to get the end goal? Or have you been doing the things or the work, however you want to talk about it, to feel better in yourself, to be a better version of yourself, to love and give a shit and care about and respect and commit to and prioritize yourself? And they always say, well, I've been doing the things to get the thing, person or situation. And that is why you feel so defeated. That is why you feel exhausted. That is why you feel so disheartened. That is why you're still waiting for your manifestation. And what happens when you're waiting for your manifestation? You're projecting out that you don't have it, because you wouldn't have to wait for something that you already have. You wouldn't need to be looking for something or proof of, like, oh, I've done all this work. Where is it? Surely it's here now, if you already had the thing. So it's really important to realize that the intent behind which you are doing things really does matter, in terms of not necessarily getting the thing that you want, but having a sustainable manifestation as well. So the particular client that I'm thinking of in this instance, when we had our coaching call, and I said that to her, and I said, okay, from now on, I want you to check in with yourself. Why do I want to do my affirmations right now? Is it because I feel like I have to do them to get the thing, right? Is it because you're worried that if you don't do your affirmations this morning that you're not going to get the thing? I have a video from way back about why you should ditch your manifestation routine. And the reason would, in that video, to cut it short, is because a lot of people are doing the routine not because they enjoy doing the routine or the ritual of it, right? It's not really part of their self-care. It's about, I feel like if I don't do my routine, I'm not going to get my manifestation. And that is not going to work in your favor. But if you're doing the routine because it's part of like your daily habit and it starts your day off feeling good and all those things, by all means, do the routine. If doing your affirmations makes you feel empowered, by all means, do your affirmations, right? Empowered is different to feeling like you're in control of everything, though, as well. I want to say that. If you're doing your affirmations or you're scripting and you, I feel so empowered because I feel like I'm controlling that person, thing, or situation in this moment, that may will them into existence temporarily, but it won't be a sustainable manifestation. Same with setting boundaries. If you can have a conversation with someone, being detached from the result of having that conversation and doing it not from a place of, I'm hoping this will scare them into committing to me, or trying to manipulate them or force a result, but instead doing it because it's like, I don't feel good the way things are happening. This is what I actually want. So I'm going to respect myself in this moment by not entertaining the version of you that is showing up in a way that I don't want, because it feels better to not be near the version that is showing up unfavorably. That should be the motivation behind having a conversation that is an ultimatum, right? It's not about trying to scare that person or force that person into doing something. It's a way, a 3D world way in which you're able to show yourself respect and to choose the version of them that you actually want, right? Which you can do in other ways as well. An energetic boundary has the same effect. It just depends on what feels most empowering for you. And it's the same as when you maybe go somewhere to be around someone because that seems like the logical link to being with them, even if that's like on a friendship level. There was a TikTok I saw a long time ago about a girl who she went to a comedy show because she thought, oh, this is a way in which I could meet people. And she went there with like attached to that being the way that she would make friends instead of just going to the comedy show by herself because she wanted to go to the comedy show with the like detachment of like I may or may not meet people that I have things in common with or that I talk to or that I, connect with or whatever. And the way that showed up for her was she ended up being the butt of the joke of the comedian, which is like not necessarily a bad thing unless you're looking at it through that insecure lens, right? You can go along with the joke, who cares? But because she was going there thinking like I'm going here because this seems like somewhere people would go and where I could meet people. And she was attached to that being how she met people, made friends. Then she became the butt of the joke, which she took very personally, probably because her nervous system was out of whack, because she was feeling very insecure. And she didn't end up making any friends. And she ended up going on TikTok and crying to the camera, talking about how upset she was about that. That is projecting out. That is that intent, the intent behind what she was doing was to try and force an outcome that she wanted. And that's why it backfired. You can apply that to romantic situations. You can apply that to probably like any manifestation, particularly people related manifestations. But, there's people involved in all manifestations. So you can even relate it to like business manifestations and things like that. If you're doing a sale to try and manipulate people into buying your products instead of doing a sale from a place of generosity, right? Or celebration. A lot of people do like birthday discounts and things like that to celebrate their business or whatever. Sometimes that's still coming from that manipulative place, sometimes it isn't. But those two energies are very different. And like I said in a recent video as well, you might be able to manifest big sales on a launch by doing things from a manipulative place. But then, like, you might experience like a huge drought in sales because of the intent behind what you were doing. When I launched my Cheat Code Academy, details below, membership, the founding members got to join at 50% off and remain members for half price for as long as they decide to remain members. And the reason for that was from a place of generosity. It wasn't to try and suck people in, right? The generosity was, I know that the library, the Level Up library within the academy at the moment, is not very heavily populated with content yet. So you're coming in, early days, and there's not a lot already there, like not a lot of a back catalog for you to go through. There's probably going to be little things that I need to iron out in running a membership because I've never run a membership before. So you're coming in that way as well. There might be some trial and error in what feels best for me to do in a way in which to go about things within the membership that I need to figure out and all those things. So from a place of generosity and gratitude, and I don't talk a lot about gratitude, but like it does come from a place of gratitude for people, A, trusting me, B, starting in the membership early when there's not a lot of content, being there with me through some of the trial and error. For example, I had like a bit of a phone drama while I'm here in Bali. I didn't have a phone for like 3 days. And that was pretty stressful. The overarching belief was that it was going to work out, and it did. And it worked out in a way that I did not expect. That was happening around the start of the new month where I needed to like have my content and everything ready for the month. And my Q&A was delayed. So technically the last Q&A for the month was like the first day of the next month, even though they still get 4 Q&As for the month of March. That is why I made the offer to sign up as a founding member at 50% off, because there were going to be those things. But also, in general, I know that I provide enough value that my clients are understanding of the fact that life can happen sometimes, and sometimes they can learn from that. So they did. There was a story I was able to share there about what was going on in that time within the Q&A session that kind of helped them see how my mindset shifted in that moment and how things played out the way they did, in a way that I didn't expect, right? Because we 99.9999999% of the time can't orchestrate the most efficient route. What we think is the most efficient route is usually us trying to apply logic to a mechanism that is not logical. But I also taught them, like, went through like what I could have done differently. So intent, checking in with yourself and figuring out where your intent, what your intent or motivation is behind doing things comes with having an awareness, right? Being able to zoom out in those situations and ask yourself, have a self check in. Why do I want to do this right now? Is it coming from a place of anxiety? Am I trying to manipulate the situation? Do I feel attached to the possible result of this action or me saying this? Or inaction as well, because inaction and action from a place of fear be can both backfire. When your nervous system's out of whack, you are going to act before you have the chance to zoom out and have that awareness and think about it. So that is why it's really important to incorporate in not just the nervous system regulation cheat code, but all of my cheat codes, because they work together synergistically. They all build off each other and make each other stronger. When, for example, applying the feel good things cheat code to this particular video topic, when you have other things going on in your life that you enjoy, you're going to be less likely to try to manipulate things, right? Come from that intent of trying to force a result because you have other things that you're deriving joy from and you're taking the pressure off your manifestation. The need for control and all of that comes from like hyperfixating on this thing. And it's okay to want something, but when you are hyperfixating on it, it's like you're saying, like, to your physiology that you're in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, even if you know you're not trying to escape a physical threat to your safety, that is when the self sabotaging behavior kicks in.